Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Before we get started, saying thank you very much to my community for just the awesome support. Everyone kind of coming together this weekend to help out when I was unavailable effectively. If you saw my video on Friday or Thursday, my voice was pretty much completely gone, so I had to take the weekend off. It wasn't fantastic, but I'm feeling mostly better now. So thank you again for the curiosity there, just asking if I'm feeling better. I greatly appreciate the support. We're going to take a look here at some slightly more macro behavior for Bitcoin, kind of just double check a few key level supports, resistances, kind of see what's going on here, because this coin is it's cranking now, right? We got, what is it, somewhere in the range of, we could just round up and say about $1 billion worth of buying activity. I know there was a couple of other alerts that came in after that were smaller, but we got a lot of money flowing back into this coin. Big surprise, the money price goes up when the money comes in. So again, with volume, we got to respect that, and the fact that much volume came into this coin leads me to believe we may not see a sell-off just based on the simple fact of, we have, so much volume at this one point. There's going to have to be a lot of selling pressure, a lot of people trying to sell to be able to offset that. So it takes a little while for that to form, which is why we kind of want to be patient, but also understand that the price action is looking pretty good. Let's quickly look at some liquidation levels on the back end, kind of see what's going on here, because this is basically the last 7 days of liquidation. When I looked at this before, it was roughly about 56,000, so let's just double check here. Yeah, 56.5. Right between 56,000 and 56,500 is the next strongest level of liquidation, okay? So does that mean that's a resistance level? Perhaps. We'll double check that. A lot of times, again, liquidation levels will occur, excuse me, and essentially consolidates at these key level supports and resistances. At this point here, though, we can see that anyone that was shorted from 52,000 upwards of 54,000 as a close approximate essentially got wiped out here. So most of that got swept. We got some late shorts, of course, but shorts are shorts. They're always going to try to do that. Keep in mind, we got a lot of liquidation at 50,000 / 51,000. We talked about that before. It was speculative that the price was going to gravitate towards that, but now I would say that's becoming less likely. Again, the same scenario keeps happening here, right? The price keeps going up, and these liquidation levels, just say 41,000, for example, or 46,000, are quickly becoming things of the past, right? So the market is changing, folks. I got to tell you that, and I'm not really a firm believer in the price action just completely selling off leading into the halving. I know that we've done that plenty of times in the past, but this just feels way different. We got a lot more money in the market, and we got a lot more, ETF, so to speak, and interest. I don't think we're going to see those kind of price points again. So I feel almost at this point, 46,000 would be more so a dream come true. 50,000 would be, a wet dream or whatever. I don't know, whatever the dream is that fulfills that for you, right? That's essentially what I'm talking about. Anyways, that's just me personally thinking out loud. Is that truth? No, but again, the TA tells us a lot, and we've kind of looked at that here so far, indicating that we have a lot of support at this level. So let's talk about that. We've got our larger time frame fib levels here, and I apologize, I got a lot of lines on the chart. I'll try to describe that as we go along. But for the weekly, let's just go ahead and look at some standard stuff, and we'll work our way down. But just to acknowledge here, money flow index, RSI, still up over 70. That's a very positive sign. Stochastic RSI is still swinging up. It's been doing so for roughly last month, okay? And that's a very positive sign. We can also see we got an MACD FU-ish, and the weekly is still very, very strong. So there's no reason to consider the macro as bearish in this scenario. We'll take a look at the monthly here at the end of the month, but for right now, I can tell you weekly is looking strong. And what a lot of these lines here on the chart are, just so you understand, is they are effectively just areas in which you can see our previous resistances. So we got previous candle wicks up to 52,000. That's proven to hold as a support recently. Now, granted, just before this week opened, we closed below that level. So again, that's not necessarily one of those situations where we're going to celebrate the fact that we've broken 52,000 and we may not come back down, but there is a good chance that we could hold that as a support just based on trying to break through that level 2 weeks in a row and having no luck. But keep in mind, of course, we did technically close in the range of 51 to 52,000, so there is potential this week for the price action to still pull back to that level, okay? Having said all that, though, you can see a pretty significant gap here. There's not a lot of resistance because every time the price action goes in this range, it shoots up or shoots down, and it's kind of uncharted territory between 52,000 and roughly 57.5. So let's take a quick look here and just kind of, let's zoom in a little bit. I don't know if I can do this here very well, but let's go ahead and zoom in and try to see if we can just kind of look at the volume profile. I mean, there's really not a lot of volume at these upper ranges, so that's another reason why it's, I wouldn't say concerning, but with low volume, it takes a while for support and resistances to form. So at this point, we can see 52,000, basically 53,000 has the lowest amount of volume almost overall in the entire last couple of years, right? That's almost 3 years actually. So if you think about that, we're going to probably be in this range here for a little bit longer to fill that, if you will, right? Because again, we need more volume to be able to get through this next resistance. But what I'm getting at here is that 57,000 has a decent amount of volume in it. Therefore, we can presume that'll be the next resistance, right? It's also coincidentally right there close to an upper fib level at 1.272 if we were to take the more recent increase based on last week's closure. I do need to update my fibs, but no matter how you look at it, if we get rid of that, for example, we can see 57,500, and of course, previous week highs are effectively 58,000. So somewhere in the range of 57.5 to 58,000 is a likely resistance level based on previous week closures and, of course, some key level fibs there at 0.786 on the weekly. Okay. And now, if we take that and we kind of zoom in here a little bit, let's go ahead and remove Elliott Wave for the moment because I don't want you to get misled here and think that the price is just going to pull back because it's anticipating an ABC pattern. The truth is we don't know where the top is here yet, so our fifth and final wave, if we are looking for that, isn't in yet. So we just want to kind of be patient in that regard. However, let's quickly look at some key levels here. Okay, so we got a stochastic swing to the upside. This is common when we see a massive amount of volume flowing into a coin. We can also see money flow index. Even though it's pulling back, it's really not that bad. That's actually a good thing here on the daily. It's maintaining above 70. Same thing with the RSI too. To me, being over 70 in the RSI, this can happen quite frequently. If we look at this here before, what is it, February 9th upwards of February 21st, so we said a decent amount of time above that level. Okay, so that's roughly, what is that? It's 11, 12 days, somewhere in that range, plus or minus. And if that is the case, then we can see here that we have potential for another couple of weeks above this level. Okay. Now again, is that a guarantee? No, it doesn't always do that. But generally speaking, being over 70 in the RSI seems contradictory, I know, to most people based on logic that it's overbought and the price is going to pull back. But on the daily time frame, it almost works inversely in that sense, whereas you have price action above 70 in the RSI, tells you it's overbought, but there's a reason for it because there's tons of volume flowing in. Okay. Again, we have a lot more volume in general that we can see, compared to before. Okay, we got a MACD convergence here as well. It's not fully confirmed, but it's trying to converge. So the truth here is this could be a very, very strong push to the upside. Now, it's best to prepare yourself for that not to be the case, but it's also best not to short into it either. Okay, again, this is still a bullish uptrend, folks. I don't know how you want to see it described to you, but this is still an uptrend. Okay, shorting carries a lot more risk. Now, the truth is we have taken some short profits when we were range bound here from 53 to 51,000 for Bitcoin, and of course the inverse as well. We took some nice longs from 43 to 52,000. Okay, so at this point is the question here: do we take a long or do we take a short? Truth is, it's probably best to wait. And again, I know that people don't like to hear that, but we want to kind of see where the daily candlestick closes today, and I think that's kind of a good barometer. And again, the reason why it's important is because it's a 24-hour estimate, or if you will, or an average. We spent 24 hours in this range. In other words, who controlled that period of trading? Okay, bulls or bears? That's kind of essentially the concept. Right now, the bulls are obviously controlling it, but it's a little too early to tell. However, with this amount of volume, I'd be remiss if the price does end up pulling back quite significantly. In fact, we broke through these two key levels here. We had two liquidity sweeps there upwards of about 53,000, and we can presume that should be the new low. Hypothetically, along from 53,000 to 57-ish, it's a better card to play than it would be to short down to 50,000, right? We've seen time and time again this level at 51 to 52,000 holding quite strong. Okay, so again, just a lot of reasons not to short, and I would obviously just hesitate and be careful taking a long. There's no doubt about it. It is risky, but it's less risky than a long than a short position. Okay, so please understand that. Over 70 in the RSI here, again, same scenario occurs when we're over 70 on RSI. The price can likely hold above that level for some time. We look at history here, essentially, just say, for example, back here, February 7th, upwards of February 11th, we spent 4 days above 70 on the RSI when Bitcoin was doing this. Okay? Not to say that exact same scenario can occur, but there's possibilities of that, right? So I do personally feel like we have more potential for upside based on what we've seen here so far. Again, the charts don't lie, and for the most part, minus all these theory type of scenarios that people are trying to short into, for the most part, we've been very successful taking longs because the price action looks bullish on all time frames. We're seeing that right now. There's no reason to kind of consider against it. You might have a MACD divergence on the 10-month daily time, 10-month time frame. It's not even a thing. I'm just throwing it out there. But generally speaking, people kind of attach themselves to too much And I would just say in general, when all these little tiny indicators all add up to be like a 90% probability the price is likely to stay where it's at or go higher, why do you want to try to short into that? Like, you're doubling down when you don't need to. Anyways, all right, I just like to throw that out there because folks do just get a little short heavy when they see this kind of scenario. Yes, you can get successful. Some people probably shorted from 53.6 down to what, 53.3 when it whipped back. Whatever, I don't know. It just seems like an uphill battle, and I choose not to fight it. All right, hourly time frame. Ichimoku cloud above the cloud, all good. No reason to short into this coin. Furthermore, what is it? CC Golden indicating, well, if and when it pulls up, we're probably going to get some confirmational signs here along the way, which actually we did. We got a few back here, and those are actually kind of old. Honestly, that was back since Thursday. But the truth is, folks, there's really no reason to short this coin. There's no other way around it. Now, we can talk quickly about Elliott Wave here, because I get that question often. You know, again, if the price doesn't end up pulling back, heaven forbid, and again, this is based on an hourly time frame where we did already see our ABC on shorter time frames. And then if you take a look at bigger picture, effectively, if this is the top, the price could pull back to these lower levels. There's truth in that. And I can send this out on our playout chart just so you can kind of see it. And you know, if you want to understand what that's going to look like, I'll put that out there for you just so you know. But keep in mind, until the top is in, there's no reason to consider the price going to pull back. But even if it does, just say the next low is established, it's going to be somewhere, the likelihood of the price going down as low as, you know, just 51,700, that's essentially pretty low. And again, that's the most recent high here. So if the price does pull back to that level, these will be some solid longs to consider. Now, even though that if that is the case and it pulls back and does an ABC pattern, if you average into your price, you have no problem, no concerns to be worried about your trade. Again, low leverage, low position sizing is king. And again, it's just a quick example here for you, but generally speaking, like we took a Crow coin long a few days ago. It came down, it looked terrible for a little bit, but it pulled back. And the reason why we didn't get liquidated is because we had low leverage, low position sizing. Okay. Again, just tons of volume here coming into the coin. No reason to consider it's going to drop anytime soon. So me personally, I think this is potentially, or not invalidated, it's just not validated yet because it hasn't happened. We're still looking for a high. And my thoughts are 53 to 57,000 as a potential high for the next level. I know that's quite the range, but generally speaking, we have no volume in the range of 53 to 57,000. So it's pretty much uncharted territory. This is a lot of price discovery we're going to be seeing. And when the RSI gets over 70 on multiple time frames, dangerous things can happen. So I really think it's best to hesitate to wait if you're considering a short, absolutely. And if you're thinking about a long, just monitor it closely and consider, I would say, lean more towards a long position than a short at the very least. And to me, again, right now, no trade is good trade, but once more, I think we're in a situation where we're still looking very bullish. Okay. All right, folks. Hope you learned something here today. Thanks again for watching. And again, greatly appreciate your support. We'll go ahead and review plenty of altcoins. Got a large list there, of course, to get back on track. So thanks again for everything. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good rest of your day.